Video game music is a really important factor of all video games, despite most people not really paying attention to it nowadays, especially compared to older titles. So I'm back again to talk about more video game menu music. I really wanted to start with talking about Sonic Mega Collection, as somebody in the comments before mentioned, because a lot of games back then had collections, and these collections usually came in 2 or 3 game discs for the price of one game. These collections often had specific menu music made for that collection specifically. Mega Collection actually has 2 versions, that being Mega Collection and Mega Collection Plus. And to talk about a lesser popular Sonic game, especially since it's shut down now, would be Sonic Runners. Sonic Runners' main theme is such a classic, especially because it really gives those vibes of the early 2010 Sonic generation. OST for this game was really well done and had a unique composer. Sonic 2 also has a very strong soundtrack, and it's only focused on the boom era of Sonic. It's reasons like this that make me really hope that a lot of these mobile games get official OST releases. Despite some of these games not being all fleshed out or extremely well done, they have a lot of potential and still have a small community till this day. And speaking about shutdowns, I'd love to talk about a AAA game that I think has a great soundtrack, and that would be Foamstars. Surprisingly, Foamstars is technically still active, live support is just done. However, the soundtrack itself was phenomenal. Listen to this tutorial soundtrack and tell me this isn't a classic. Things like this is what helps video games really enchant you in its world and get you in the vibe to play more of it. Square Enix is just not great at doing live service games, and I think that's something that they are finally starting to realize. The menu and themes in Foamstars overall helped highlight just how much passion and energy the team had in creating a game that was in general just fun. And I feel like that's something that Foamstars really, unfortunately, didn't get a chance to reach due to its short lifespan. And because of that, I think Foamstars does leave a bittersweet history behind itself, with having a funk-inspired soundtrack that isn't Persona-based and really embracing that style and energy helped highlight it as being its own thing and sounding like something entirely different from especially most live service games nowadays. I do want to talk about another PlayStation classic here, and that would be Armored Core. I didn't really realize how many people, especially I guess newer generations, didn't play the original Armored Core games and know how good the soundtracks are for the original 4 Armored Core games. actually nuts. It has a very high techno feel, and as you could tell from the original video, I do enjoy a bit of upbeat music, especially when it comes to menu music. You want to be in the vibe to play a game, and Armored Core, the original, obviously highlights that, and even for a game from the 90s, it sounds so compellingly good. And later, Armored Core games did not drop this vibe either. This is still maintained for games like Nexus, because Armored Core Nexus sounds like a weird updated version. It's like going from Mega Man to Mega Man X in the Armored Core series for me. A lot of these modern games still do have fantastic main menu themes. God Eater, despite being a game originally locked to the Vita, has a fantastic soundtrack. Due to the hardware they were locked to, unfortunately God Eater didn't escape this until his third installment. Despite this, they really highlight how much energy a handheld game can have. Unlike console games, a lot of these games have a limitation of how big in scale they can go, and a lot of the soundtrack for these games help highlight that. God Eater has a phenomenal intro for its third game that you could have heard in almost any 2017 AMV. Until recently, I didn't know that God Eater 3 and Code Vein had the same composer thanks to a comment. Unfortunately, most Vita games, and especially the Sony exclusives, have been locked to the Vita, and if they have been ported, it's strictly just that with minor tweaks. It's very rare that they got another installment. However, a game that did get a full console installment would be Gravity Rush. This Gravity Rush still manages to hit a lot of those emotional beats that you wouldn't expect, and they're amplified even more because Gravity Rush doesn't have a lot of vocal tracks in general. So once you hear those big vocal tracks, they stand out even more. A great example of this would be the final boss theme in Gravity Rush 2. This theme is a huge amalgamation of the entirety of the series because this is Kat's theme and her theme that we've heard quite frequently in the first game, and it's very sparingly used in the second. to go back to its roots, Gravity Rush 2 also does a plethora of remixes of themes from the first game when it was on the Vita, and giving it that full upscaled bombastic feeling that they couldn't achieve due to budgetary restraints. And GR2 even goes even further in the remix category of making character themes from the first game sound entirely different from how they did in the second, and when they re-debut the theme again, it still has a lot of those huge motifs that make the theme feel brand new yet similar. And to go even further, GR2 is split into 3 acts, and each act sounds entirely different from one another and have different antagonists for it, and each have different themes. The final boss of Act 2 has a great theme, and it's one of the best in the series that's on par with Raven's theme in the final act. All of that stems from the main theme of GR2 embracing an entirely different vibe that's just not there in the original game due to the size and scale. And a game that really only is known for its main theme would be Telltale's The Walking Dead. We all know Alive Inside because it's the main theme of all 4 seasons. It's one of those huge, impactful themes that you really don't take appreciation of until you realize, wow, there's barely any other tracks that are noticeable. There is one noticeable track in Season 1 that is extremely well done, and that would be Armed and Dangerous, and that is Lee's theme when he's getting Clementine in Episode 5. Slower themes also serve in being able to build anticipation. As a person that's usually a fan of faster paced themes, I think they're all relatively well done. I think a great game that pretty much subverts expectations with its main menu theme would be Borderlands 3, surprisingly. Regardless of Borderlands 3's quality in writing and gameplay, I don't think anyone can deny the fact that Borderlands 3 by far has the best soundtrack in the entire series, and it hypes itself up at the start of the game by actually having a very strong main theme that's not present in the other titles. Also works in Borderlands 3's favor because this is the first game in the series where we go off planet, which is a big thing that's been hyped up since the end of Borderlands 2. And yes, we explore the moon in the pre-sequel, but it's not full-blown like it is in 3, where you explore different planets throughout the entire campaign. And it uses this to push a huge balance between different genres as you go to each different planet, especially when you listen to those boss themes. And that's a looter shooter in itself. Each genre has different menu and themes and composers, but I don't think any highlighted just as well as something like the beat 'em up genre. A great example of this would be River City Girls. In general, if you've never played those games, I highly recommend listening to it. This is a great example of just a save theme having such a short sample, but it being a banger song in general. And most beat 'em ups, similar to RCG, go out of their way to have different music for each zone. My favorite being Skull Kraken. And on the rare occasion, River City Girls actually does throw in a vocal track, surprisingly.
What do I care about your problems? Everything should go my way. Matter of fact, I just might be God's gift to River City. I think I'm better than you. I'm better than you. Why do I suffer these fools? I'm suffering fools. Don't you say that it's not true. I'm better than you.
That's just touching the surface of how unique and diverse beat 'em up games can be, especially when they shift genres so much in its games. A great example of this would be Ultimate Alliance and how unique that soundtrack is, where almost every stage has an entirely different soundtrack and sounds completely different from the previous. The main theme is pretty much an extension of the Helicarrier theme. And then you go into something like Mephisto's Realm or the AIM base, and they sound entirely different from each other. It's that type of energy that I think beat 'em up games excel at because they are able to constantly provide high energy tracks. And that's not exclusive to the early Marvel games either. TASM 1 main menu theme is great, and Batman Arkham City obviously has one of the best definitive Batman themes to ever exist, and it's in the main menu. Specifically Ultimate Ninja and Uzumaki Chronicles, because I think these two games embody the Naruto Part 1 theme the best. And to also mention, I want to point out how a lot of the classic anime games, not just Naruto, also always had title calls. It was something that just kind of faded out in recent years.
Naruto Ultimate Ninja! Naruto Ultimate Ninja 3!
Naruto Clash of Ninja.
Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles 2! Naruto Ninja Council!
A cool thing about Ultimate Ninja would be that in the first 3 games before CC2 changed to the lime green logo we see nowadays, every time you started the Ultimate Ninja game, they had a unique quote from the part of the story they were covering. It was so cool when you notice it. Take a listen to Itachi's theme and tell me this isn't one of the best themes in general. And then there's Uzumaki Chronicles, which feels like a spiritual successor to the anime original soundtrack. Listen to the main title screen of Uzumaki Chronicles 2 and tell me it's not similar to the main Naruto theme. And that's just a taste of how interesting the Uzumaki Chronicles soundtrack can be. The world map for Uzumaki Chronicles 2 is also fantastic. And surprisingly, they actually composed an original song for Uzumaki Chronicles 1 that ended up being the credits for the game. Unfortunately, in the West, it was an instrumental for us, but in the Japan version, we did actually get a full vocal track, and it's one of the best original tracks Naruto has had.
しかできないことってあるから変われてしまうものばかりじゃないだから君と私で証明してればいい 私には君がいるからその声を聞くだけで Keep stronger, get legendary Change the world 風を吹くあの街にいる空高く shout carry out the light
And that's just a glimpse of how many people have tackled the Naruto license and gave it its own flair. Clash of Ninjas sounds entirely different from the original Ultimate Ninja series. Ultimate Ninja 3 main menu theme is also one of the most familiar with me. Since we're in the realm of Japan, I also want to tackle Xiaolin Showdown's video game and how good that soundtrack is, even for a licensed game. It went out of its way to have a unique main menu theme and a unique credits theme. I wanted to end this video talking about one of my favorite video game series of all time, and that would be Little Big Planet. Unfortunately, Little Big Planet isn't talked about as much as it used to, but I think tracks like Sleepyhead fully embody the early 2010s gaming industry. And how creative and how out there it was back then before everyone was a gamer, I guess. Even the main theme for Little Big Planet 1 sticks out to me because it really has that energy that just isn't there anymore. Some games try to invoke it, but back then Little Big Planet was kind of the standard of what gaming should be. It should be fun, it should be creative, and listening to a lot of these themes again kind of invoked a lot of memories for me, especially because I try to stay away from a lot more modern games when I'm making these videos, because most people have probably heard a lot of those themes or they're a lot of samey, and unfortunately I can't touch on every game on the list, obviously. Main menu themes are something that a lot of people usually overlook because they're so excited to get to the game itself, and I think it's something that a lot of people forget to cherish, especially considering a lot of these older PS2 titles are ones that a lot of people don't remember nowadays or haven't had the opportunity to play. All in all, I still think menu themes are still some of the best music that a video game can offer, and video game music in general is still fantastic, all across the board for the most part. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Maybe consider subscribing, liking the video. I'm surprised if you did watch this whole 30-minute plus video. I really wasn't planning on it being this long. Regardless, thank you. Any recommendations would be greatly appreciated. Later.